Welcome to YOUCANIC. In this video we're going to show you how to replace turn signal switch on a Toyota. Here we have a 2012 Toyota Camry, but this procedure is going to be very similar for other Toyotas as well. Of course there's going to be a few things that are going to be different, like how you release this airbag is going to be the main difference, but you'll get the idea. So what you want to do is, the first step is you drive a vehicle with the wheels pointing straight forward, steering wheel in center. Make sure you don't have the wheels turned to the left, to the right, anything like that. They need to be straight forward. And then you open the hood and disconnect the negative terminal from the battery. Come inside, press this horn a couple of times, even though you're not going to hear it, but what that's going to do is going to discharge any current that might be in the electrical system. The reason why you want to do that is because working on these airbags can be very dangerous. If they deploy while you're working on them, they're going to cause injuries, deaths in some cases, so keep that in mind. After you disconnect the battery, come here, press the horn, wait 5 minutes after that, and then move to the next step, which would be to release the airbag and remove it. So on the side here you're going to have holes. In this case we don't have holes, we have just some plastic pieces that need to come off. So this is right there. We have another one on this side, comes right off. We have this airbag released so we can show you what you are doing. So you'll take the screwdriver and then you'll push this spring. You'll see just the tip of that spring, but you'll be pushing that up, so releases this right here. Okay, and then you come here, you press that. Okay, and then on this side you come here and then you press this, and that releases 1, 2, 3 spots. Sometimes you have to just pull a little bit on the airbag so it doesn't stay locked while you release it. But that's it. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Then carefully I highly recommend to use a plastic tool to pop out these center pieces right here, and then you can unlock the connectors for the airbag. And then right here we have the wire that's for the horn. Release that, then carefully move the airbag somewhere safe. Do not drop it, handle it carefully. Right here we have these electrical connectors. We need to press this clip here to release them. Same thing with this one. You press that and then you pull it. Okay, so the next step is to remove this nut for the steering column, so we can remove the steering wheel. This in this case is 19mm, but it could be a different size. It can be 21, it could be Allen wrench. You want to hold the steering wheel, have somebody do this, and then break loose that nut. It's going to be on tight, and then remove it. Once you break it loose, it's pretty simple to get that off. And then just remove that. Now before you remove the steering wheel, we highly recommend mark this here and mark the steering column right there. Mark it at 3 o'clock and then here, and then try to be straight with these lines. So when you put the steering wheel back on, you want to line up these lines. So you put the steering wheel back on center, so your steering wheel is not driving down the highway and the steering wheel is off center, off to the side. Okay, so the next thing is we have 2 Phillips screws right here. Some models might have a Phillips screw right on top. Some models might not have a Phillips screw at all. They just clip these 2 pieces together and that's it. You just kind of have to pry this out like so. Sometimes there's a screw right where the lever is for the steering column. If you do have a manual adjust here, there might be a screw hidden in there. There isn't in this case. This clip, you see these 2 pieces, they're kind of locked right here on top. And then what we want to do is we got to disconnect all these connectors, and the way you do that is you have to press on them and then you pull them down. So you press this clip right here, that will have it. Okay, alright, now this right here is a little tricky. This is the connector for the airbag, and it's going to have 2 ways that get secured so it doesn't come loose. So you might gonna have to press that first, but then over here you press that. Let me show you so you can see a closer up look. So you'd be pulling down on that like so. Alright, so the next thing is we have the clock spring here, and the clock spring clips right here, has a part, and then has one here on top. We need to pull this up as well. And typically there's one. Okay, there's typically one on this side as well. And you want to be careful with clock spring. Don't move this, don't turn this around. You want to keep it in the same exact location. We have one more electrical connector here. Okay, so you might be replacing just this. So this can be removed, released, reused. So you pull up from this right here. Okay, and then pull this off. So you can reuse that. Or if you have a one whole unit, you don't need to pull that off like that. Now to pull this out, there's two brackets that just go over and then go over like that, and they lock in place. So we're gonna use do like a flathead screwdriver just to pull this off here at the top. You kind of have to do that all at once, but once you do that, this whole turn signal switch, or also called combination switch, can be out. Okay, so you can see right here, I was pushing up this with a screwdriver, and I'm pushing down on this one, and then to reinstall it, you basically are going in reverse order. The most important thing to keep in mind is that when you reinstall this, tighten this nut right here. We highly recommend using thread locker on it, like Loctite, and torquing that to spec. So I'm going to put everything back together. Okay, and we take this lower piece, cock spring. You reinstall the cock spring, you press that in, it locked right there, locked there, lock over here. Now we reconnect all these connectors. We have one back here, one there, one there, one there. There's two right here, and that there, and that's it. And then make sure, just try pulling these. Make sure not too hard. You don't want to pull out these wires, but just make sure they're secure. All right. Line up this plastic trim. Okay, and then we reinstall these Phillips screws. Again, be careful with the clock spring. Do not turn this and bring it up on top. Turn it away around 360 and bring it up on top, because that's going to cause issues. You're going to reinstall this, and then after you drive a few times, that ribbon inside, there's a ribbon in here, it gets stretched too much, and then it causes like airbag and steering wheel buttons not to work and things of that nature. So there's that. You're going to take the steering wheel, you're going to put the wires right through here. Okay, so we'll put this back on. You're gonna match these lines, okay? So if you don't, you're gonna be driving down the road and the steering wheel is gonna be off center. Okay, I think that's where we gotta be. Use some thread locker on that nut, and then also tighten this to spec. This nut right here, you're gonna hold this and then tighten that. But you do want to tighten this nut right here according to specifications. We should have that in our step-by-step guide, at least typical values, and or you can call your dealer and they should be able to tell you what the torque spec is for that. Then you take this, then you take the airbag. You can connect all these wires. Orange goes on orange, and then you press the center piece to lock it, and then I didn't press that yet, but you press that and that it should be flash. And the same thing over here, you take this wire, this is the connector for the horn, press that until it locks. If your horn doesn't work after you put everything back together, it's because you didn't connect that wire. And then you take the airbag and you simply just press that in, and then it will lock. And on the sides here you're gonna have these plastic pieces that just get pushed right through there. So that's it. Pretty simple, straightforward. You have to be careful, especially with the airbag. Disconnect the battery and wait a few minutes before you start working on it. The other thing is, this is gonna be taking you about 1 to 2 hours at most. And keep in mind that clock spring there to not rotate it and put it back the exact same way. And then the nut for the steering column right there, use some thread locker on it and torque that to spec. And of course these lines really help to put the steering wheel in the exact location and look orientation. And that's all. Thank you for watching.